Hello, this is Nancy Heins-Glaser, and I'd like to welcome you to another Meet the Artist program. And today, I'm lucky enough to be with a bevy of beauties, actually wonderful artisans from Soma Artisans Guild, a brand new group of independent artists. And I am here with Vollum, Allison Oxman, Katie Clayton, and Joe Bradney. And we're going to start a little bit about the history because you're new. So we want to know how you all got started. Allison, would you kind of just do a little build-up for that?
Sure. Well, I'm honored to be part of this group. I never in a million years thought I'd be part of an artisans guild. But I'm very happy to be part of this group, especially these three women. They're fabulous. About a year ago, I think it was, I got a call from Katie because I did the Maplewood stock last year, and she asked me to be part of this group. And so I decided to check it out. So we went to our first meeting, and I met Anne and Joe and a bunch of other people who were there. And I don't know, would you like to tell us a little bit about the group?
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you start? Because you two were the principals. You really did.
That's right. Well, it all really started after Maple Woodstock last year. I had started a store on Etsy and had started selling T-shirts and prints and things like that. And I felt like I needed some more business support and more marketing help. So I called Katie up after Maple Woodstock and asked her if she would like to start a group with me to focus on the business side of selling our art. And Katie knows just about everybody in town. So very quickly we had a huge number of people involved in this.
Mm-hmm. You got it going, and Katie, you're a forever person around here, born and raised in South Orange. So if people didn't know you were an artist, I'd be surprised, but they certainly will now.
Yep.
We have a big fan base, so. But anyway, so when she called you, what was your first thought about getting started?
I thought it was great. I wanted to, after Maple Woodstock last year, I wanted to set up some more craft shows throughout Maplewood and South Orange. And I thought it'd be really fun to bring all the local moms and dads that were out at Maple Woodstock to come out throughout the year so we could all make money together. And when Anne wanted to do the business part of things and I wanted to do the craft part of things, it worked so nicely. And then we got a hold of Allison and Joe, and they've been sort of like the rocks because, you know, it's hard to do everything by yourself. And Allison's been great with our newsletter, and Joe helps us print out everything.
And yeah, Joe's really your webmaster and the face of, because what especially nowadays everybody uses the web. So it really, I think, or I've been told, unless you do that, you're really missing a large piece of possible business, because it's still all about looking for you and seeing if they're interested to begin with, and how you come across on the web is very important in terms of marketing. So, and Joe, that's your part, huh?
It is, yeah. And it also helps us to keep in touch with each other as well, and to stay focused between meetings, so that's good.
And we post everything on the blog, so all the information about the guild is there for people to access.
Right, and to organise upcoming craft shows where we're going to share a booth, something like that. As well as advertising our own separate shows. So.
Right, and you all do that. I mean, I know I've met, I hadn't met Katie, which I must have been the only person who doesn't know you, and so now I'm among the lucky. But I had met you guys because I'm always out checking out the art scene and just having a blast and meeting all the wonderful people we have around here who also happen to be artists. But and so I was delighted to have the chance to meet somebody. And you have history here, so I'm hearing a lot about some of the history I missed. I've only been here 31 years, so. But anyway, you know, I didn't grow up here, so I really am. I don't have children in the district, so everybody I meet who's an artist, and many of them are moms, I get a little information from it. Speaking of that, do you find that a lot of the people in the guild are moms or parents, or is it a mix of both?
I think it's just
I'd say it's
the two of us that don't have kids.
Well, and Corey too.
Right,
Quite
there's
a
a few
few
other
couple.
a couple, but most of the people are or parents or work full-time or something like that.
So
Because
that's one of the great things about having 4 of us involved in running the group, is that it's, Katie and I quickly found out that it was way too much work for
Oh, it was
just the 2 of us
so
to
much.
do and to keep the group running.
It'd have to be a full-time job.
And if it wasn't for Joe and Allison joining us, I don't think we would still be,
We still wouldn't be
Active.
organized.
we wouldn't be so
We're-
organized
Oh,
for
thanks,
sure.
guys.
We're not even a
Thank you.
year old yet. I think we're about 8 months old now, and I think we've come a really long way.
We all have very different skills and very complementary skills as well, so
Mhm. It's like a power group.
it pulls everything together and we nudge each other into
Mhm. I think that's one of the reasons
Progressing
why.
further.
Yeah. The greatest thing about joining this group was that, you don't have every skill under the sun. And I'm not, I may be an artist, but there are some people who don't have the greatest business skills. And I think it was really attractive to me to have the ability to hear other people's ideas and to brainstorm. And for me, this is not really, because there are groups that are more crafty. This is, to me, not a crafty group. This is a group of business people who want to be more successful. And yeah, they may be, being more successful might mean going to a craft show where they've never done that before. And what I love about sharing a booth, the idea of that is that, if you're a little nervous or hesitant about doing something on your own, you have so many people around you who have done it before, and you can really pull their experience to make a better experience for yourself as a craftsperson.
now you guys have a board. You have a working board.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Right.
the 4 of you are here, and that's why we had the 4 of you. You have many other people who are members. I
Right.
found out about you because you asked me to come and speak. I don't think I've ever had anyone do that before. So I was delighted to have an opportunity and also to meet new artists, always. But what I think is, to me, is neat is when I first moved to town, there was a place called I think it was First Mountain Crafters. And it was on Sloane Street. And they've been gone a long time, okay? But it was a co-op gallery. They had crafts, they had jewelry. And that piece has sort of not been there. So you're bringing it back and bringing it out. And, we're wearing some of your jewelry. Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing that.
The bling we have is Allison Oxman.
apart from this one.
Right, a couple of things.
And that's
Most
one
of
of
it's
your
fine.
other artists, right? One of
This
your
is
Yeah,
another one of our
that's,
Yeah, who
jewelers.
is that? Who
This
is
is
the person?
Aaron Lipschultz.
Okay.
Those beautiful earrings and necklaces.
Mhm.
And you're wearing
And
some.
I
Something
have
Maplewood.
Denise McLaughlin's jewelry on, and she's another jewelry artist.
And then you have yet another one I know of, I think, right? Amy? Is that
Amy
right?
Goldberg.
Amy Goldberg.
Yeah.
And
she's beautiful
how
stones.
many, are there a lot more jewelers or do you have a potter in the group? I didn't ask
We have a
that.
little of everything.
We have a little bit of everything.
Okay.
We could use some potters.
How many potters out
Someone
there?
call.
Some more
We want to sell
woodworkers.
more pottery and work with a cool group. This is the group. So do they reach you? Is the website is Soma Artisans Guild? Is that how they find you?
You can reach us through the blog, and
Okay.
the blog is
SOMAartisansguild.blogspot.com.
See, we need her.
That's right.
And so, Joe, I'm sitting in front of one of your amazing pieces. In fact,
you.
I think I bought one, didn't I? I bought a print.
You did.
And I fell in love with it because your pieces are moody to me. They're subtly moody. I always get a feeling out of them. They're always beautiful. I don't mean that, but they're evocative of something. And even the
Sarcasm.
subject matter.
Snarky sarcasm.
And so that I did get to know you. And then, of course, Anne, you and all of our friends here, the Beastly Beasties, as they're
Beasties.
called, right?
That's right.
I've been seeing you at the Artist Studio Tour as well. Now, you guys are all going to be part of the tour,
Mhm.
right? And so if this is viewed after the tour, I'm sorry you would have missed it. But anyway, what made you decide to stay part of that, and how do you see yourselves fitting into that whole piece of it? 'Cause
The
there's,
tour?
The Artist Tour. Mhm.
Well, I think that there's definitely a melding of the groups. It's a very friendly, environment. There's always a lot of acceptance for other artists, and what I love about this group is that there's a generation sharing of information. So, there's all age groups. There's people who've been here for a long time, really established artisans, and then there are newer artisans coming in. And so I love that about the studio tour. You're able to see, you know, many different kinds of art from many different generations of people. People who are new here, you know, there's been an influx of people from the city lately, in Manhattan, and then there are people who've been living here for many years, some generations. So I think it's a really good compliment.
And I know, Katie, when I talked with you, I think part of what you told me was just the idea of that day job, that everyday day job. I think a lot of us reach that sooner than others. I reached it many years ago myself, but I still keep trying to plug away at that. But that's appealing because you have some flexibility in a daily schedule. You can actually have a life.
Oh yeah, it's great.
You know, if you have a child. I mean, and the other thing is having the chance to meet you and watch kids run around. And I'm always amazed at that, how moms can handle, you know, multitasking. You know,
And some dads.
Yeah, no.
Men.
So, yeah, but what I enjoy the enthusiasm a lot with all the artists we have. But you know, it's also nice to have a new group get going, and I think that's, like you said, everybody's accepting of everyone else's work, and that's part of why it's such a fabulous two-town arrangement. Even somebody from the outside, we allow them in, right, Joe?
Of course.
Where are you from now? I've forgotten.
Well, England via Morris Plains. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you find out about the whole artist community here, and then eventually to
I
the
used to live in
artisans?
Melbourne, and I actually learned to draw at the adult school here. So Barbara Minch teaches the How to Draw class. It's just fabulous.
And the co-op.
And the co-op. I'm
Yep.
very lucky to have been part of the exhibitors co-op, and that's really why I wanted to join this group. I've learnt so much from working with professional artists, and to focus more on the business side. That's what I needed. So maybe help me become a better artist, and I will become better business women and men from being in the guilds.
And we working with each other, playing off of each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, I've also, I get so excited because I see each of you in different places. I saw at a trunk show at one of our stores in town.
Yeah, Cosabella,
I know,
which I
we
miss.
won't miss you, Lisa.
Yeah.
We won't say anything. And Anne, I've seen you at the studio tour and other places too. And
The Baird Center.
Book Arts,
Show with the Book Arts group.
you're currently airing, I think, in a show that we did for Book Arts Roundtable.
That's right.
That's the other thing. I have about a minute left for break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about how you do all of that, because it's a lot that you do. So not only forming a group now, but also this show, that show, Maple Woodstock coming up, who knows what else. You know, how do you do all that and sustain your energy? But, I mean, that's a big question. We'll wait till we come back. So, you have Corey Wolf's work here.
Yeah.
That's Katie's work over there. That's Joe, and this is Anne, right? And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about how they stay so young and energetic. 'Cause I need to learn. Don't turn that dial. We'll see you in just a second.
Express yourself. Explore teen summer reading at your library.
And welcome back. Nancy Heins-Glaser with Meet the Artists and Soma Artisans Guild. Joe, Katie, Allison, and Anne. Anyway, when we went out to break, I was asking you, how do you sustain that energy, because you're all at different shows and all over the place. How do you do that? Somebody give me an idea.
And you start.
It's a constant juggle, Nancy. But I do this to keep me sane, basically. Otherwise, you end up doing everything for your children. And so I started drawing, and I used to be a professional designer, and I do all the design work for the group. And then Joe helps implement the more technical web stuff. And I used to paint, and that got rather difficult with having children around and carrying it around. So then I started drawing in notebooks, and these notebooks became artist books that I ended up doing, and through that, and people coming up to me saying, oh, you should do T-shirts, you should do this, I ended up doing the T-shirts, and I've been doing it for a couple of years now.
T-shirts, aprons, totes.
That's right, but it's this huge juggle trying to have time to do the artistic work, to do the business side, and the marketing, which was one of the reasons that we started this group,
We all
was
came
that
together.
we needed a little moral support and
You
help
needed
in
four
numbers.
heads.
That we needed a place to pool our resources so that everybody's not starting from square one.
As my mother-in-law said, I was too busy to have a real job. So, you know.
And there you go. I didn't realize that dueling Brits on opposite
That's
sides of the
right.
room.
Yeah.
Wait, it just occurred to me.
Well, I'm kind of an African too, because I was born in Africa and spent some time in Pakistan too, which is
That's part of it.
part
I
of
see
the
the
reason why
influence.
I'm very interested in textiles and traditional designs. We used to go and see all the traditional block printing in Pakistan, and
You can really see the influence of that.
Absolutely. And I
feel the African art, and that's definitely
exciting. That helps me
at
understand.
the root of
Yeah, it's
These
very much so
beasties.
at the beasties. How about you, Allison? How do you sustain it with that little person running around the house?
I got two little people.
Oh, two. I only
there's
saw
an-
one.
yeah,
I
there's
was
an older little
exhausted.
person, two boys. I think the universe gave me a challenge, but they're fantastic. I am actually busier now than I've ever been in any full-time job that I've ever had.
totally
I am
agree with that.
completely, swamped. Not only do I do jewelry, but I also have a virtual assistance business. So I've been building that over the past year. And I give remote administrative support to small businesses and consultants, and it's been very satisfying. I'm actually happier than I've almost ever been doing any career, and I've had many. So I really didn't even discover that I knew how to do jewelry. My father was sort of a part-time artist. He was an engineer, and he did stuff on the side. And my grandfather, his father, did these beautiful little cartoons, characters, and I just never had any of that in me. I thought maybe my creative, piece was in the theater arts. I was more of a theater person. I went into the casting business and then left that, and then I was completely administrative, sort of organizational HR for the rest of my time. Until about a couple of years ago, my grandparents had a millinery store in Nyack, New York, which is a hotbed of creative activity.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. If I could live there, I would. It was great. Although
This ain't so
South
bad.
Orange Maplewood is sort of the Nyack
Yeah,
of New Jersey,
okay,
I have
very
to
good.
say.
Good
okay?
recovery.
Yeah, well, I had that for my part too. So.
Yeah.
And my grandfather liked to make earrings out of these crystals, and we had some in my garage when I was growing up, and I just thought they were pretty. And one year after my grandparents both passed away, I decided to take some of those crystals and make them into necklaces for some of the women in my family, just as, sort of sentimental. And they loved them, and it just grew out of there, and then I just kind of evolved. So it's been really amazing.
What a discovery, huh? And I'm sure
Crazy.
your grandparents are thrilled to bits, looking
Yeah,
down on you
hopefully,
and happy as
hopefully.
could be.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, because for some reason you were supposed to do that. Isn't
I
that
guess. Yeah, it's really weird. but-
Wonderful. And Katie, how did you come to where you've arrived? I know you've done a lot of stitching and sewing. You're going to be starting a business in Maplewood.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. How are you sustaining? Well, you were young, but I mean, really, that's a lot to take on.
Caffeine and friends.
Okay.
Caffeine and good friends.
Okay.
Carrie from Carrie's Cafe was so kind to open her doors to us even when the cafe was closed and let us hold our meetings there. She was a big push for me to keep going with the group no matter how hard it was. And it was great to have kind of a home base at Carrie's, I think, for a while to really kind of establish ourselves. And, painting I was working for a long time, and then after Maple Woodstock last year, I'd said that's it. I didn't want to work anymore. I didn't want. Sorry guys, I love you all, but I couldn't work 7 in the morning, at 8, 7 o'clock at night anymore. And
You are
Now
an
you work.
EMT
Now you work
also.
6 in the morning till midnight.
yeah, now I work even
More hours.
But
But
you
you
know,
were an EMT even at one point.
at
You've
one
done a lot.
point, yeah, for like 2 years on the squad, but things change, and as you're trying to grow and you're trying to establish yourself more, you find what really works for you. And basically, I really like to take walks every day, and that really helps my day, because if I don't get out of the house for a few minutes, I'd go nuts. So, and now I'm opening a new place with my girlfriend on Springfield Avenue. I'll be teaching sewing to kids, and that's taken up a lot of time too. But it's a good home stretch for me.
Wonderful. And Joe, how did you come to this, and how do you keep up with it all?
I like having the deadlines, the monthly and weekly meetings. You have to have something to show, or you have to have produce something. So I do like, it's like homework, you have to have. So yeah, that's good. And I love my commute, it's just down the hallway, and there's my studio.
That's
It's
right.
nice.
It isn't that far from Morris Plains, actually, to here. So
Well, if I could take shares out on Route 24, I'm on it 3 times a
You're
week.
and you know every nook and cranny.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
And the other thing that's fun, I'm sure you share suppliers. Where can you get this? Where you get that? And I think that's always a hard one, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like you have to do your own searching all over the place.
I think we have something in mind to do, and we've been thinking about it for a while, but still getting ready to implement it, is kind of dividing the specialties a little bit and finding, people of like craft, and maybe setting up subgroups of jewelers or, fine artists or, printmakers or, or
There's
textiles.
also you have a whole resource of people you can say, what do you think about this company? Have you got a good place to buy bubble wrap boxes, all that sort of stuff. It's
Right.
you don't have to go out and do the research yourself.
Right, and they know somebody, if we have an agreement that we need to look at, my husband's an attorney, and he's so, happily
It's good to have one in the
volunteered
family.
to, yeah, I know, it's nice. Except they argue a lot, it's a real problem, but, sorry, honey.
That's
So.
good, no, because you do need to always protect yourselves. I think that's the other thing that artists are often open and vulnerable to. But one of the things in my meeting with each of you, and then meeting as a group with you, you keep talking about how wonderful everybody's been at the community of other artists and also the towns, and how much it feels like you're already at home, in the world of artists, or not even. You see people who saw you in your art role. That must make a difference too, to feel really rooted in what you're doing.
So all the groups in town are very accepting of each other, and they're very accepting of new people.
Right.
For instance, the 1978 gallery,
Right.
they invited, I got invited to do their Christmas sale, although I'm not a member, and it was very nice to be a part of that,
And
group as well, and to meet a whole new lot of artists.
Yeah, and I think that, the identity of the Soma Artisans Guild has given us a real, what's the word? Credibility in the community as well. I think as a team, we were taken a little more, not seriously, but we're definitely considered differently than we would as individuals.
Yeah, and that's true. So collective strengths, safety in numbers, and all those
Yeah.
things, I guess, is what they say. But is there anything so you've mentioned what you'd like to see happening, doing a little bit more subgroup kind of thing. Is there something that you envision, a wild dream, that you envision for either yourself or the group, or something that you want to happen in the next 10 years? That's a tough one. I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Katie has the vision.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Katie and
make
Ann can
plans.
tell you about that.
Joe's shivering. So, because I'm sure that this sets a pathway for you to be able to dream more. And artists must always have the opportunity to dream. And, I've always believed that one of the reasons we have a lot of longer living artists around here is they have so much to create, they're just not going anywhere. So they're 80, they're 90, and they're still doing their work.
It's true.
It's that need to create, to keep going. So once you open a pathway to be able to dream, such as you have, and seen something to come to fruition, if you haven't thought about it now, I'm sure you will be very soon,
Well,
in 5-10 years.
I'd love to kind of follow the way of the Book Arts Round Table that started off in a very similar way to
In
the
the
way we
Bureau.
started.
Yeah.
With Karen McDermott after they'd had a work.
They had a
class.
workshop,
They had
yeah.
a workshop which a number of people came to.
7, she
And
told
then
me.
they wanted to continue, and 10 years later, they have hundreds of members now. They fly in experts for wonderful workshops, and it's a very grounded group and very respected around the country. And I would like for this group to kind of follow in those footsteps, and also for us to have a lot more experts in
And business
to
and
come
money.
talk to
Yeah,
us.
right.
We've had Social Steve, who's Steve Goldner, who's a local South Orange resident, come and talk to us about social media, which was very interesting, and which is
You even had me. I'm still trying to figure that out. We even had me. But we only have about a minute left. Is there anything anybody else? And you're ready to say something.
I am. I just wanted to say that if anybody would like to receive our newsletter, which is full of information about upcoming events that we have, craft shows, even if you're somebody who comes to the craft shows and you're interested in seeing our work, please go to the blog. Maybe we can mention the web site again
Do it
so that,
again.
and
Say it
just
again,
let us
Joe.
know that you'd like to receive it, and we'll send it to you.
Or if you'd like to become a member, you can
Of course.
you can contact us too.
Right?
SOMAartisansguild.blogspot.com.
It's blogspot.com.
Blog.
But anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming on and generating excitement and making sure that things are going forward for all of us, because new things mean new pathways for the next set of people
I
coming.
agree.
And there's no such thing as too much art in my mind.
No way. Never.
The more the merrier, and I think really when our communities put their heads together, they'll understand that fully marketing what we have here in strength as artists and cultural offerings, etc. There's no place like it. Maybe Nyack, okay. But anyway, I want to thank you for joining us. Be sure to keep a lookout for Soma Artisans Guild. And there are many shows, and you'll see them many places. And say hello to each one of them. And I want to thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Nancy.
Thank you for having me.